Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here at the Nexion Travel Group conference in Universal Orlando, Florida, and we're here talking with Elizabeth Caran, who is an agent affiliate of Nexion with Outlander Travel in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. And we're going to talk to Elizabeth about how she built her business, how she got in the travel industry, and how she's used Nexion services to grow that business even further. And this is Insider Travel Report. Now, Elizabeth, first of all, it's great to meet you. I've heard a lot of great things about you and your travel agency and how you started. Let's first of all talk about your agency, which is Outlander Travel. First of all, how did you get that name?
So I actually was a librarian for 20 years,
Right.
And so there's a series of books called Outlander.
I wondered about that because
Yes.
I do know that series.
Yes, and of course it's become a TV series
Right.
after but I wanted something that tied my past life as a librarian into my future life as a travel agent, and also brought about the idea of travel in sort of a new and different way. That book is a little bit more about time travel, but also has settings, the series of books has settings all over the world. So.
No, and I wondered about that if it was related, and you answered that question. Now, describe your agency for me. How big is it? And it is located in Raleigh-Durham, right?
Yes, it's actually located in Cary, so just outside the Raleigh.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have 11 independent contractors. Most of us are in North Carolina, a lot of us in the Raleigh-Durham area, a couple of us in Greensboro, one in Charlotte, and then I have a few more spread out throughout the country.
And you actually, I asked if you were home based, but you said you actually do have office space too, right?
I do. After about 3 years at home, I was going a little bit crazy, being home all the time, and I wanted a place that was completely mine. I have 2 children, and a dog and a cat and a husband, and so it was really nice.
Which are more annoying at the business?
It depends on the day. So I just wanted someplace that was a little bit quieter, where it could be my space. And as I've grown, my clients are wanting to come see me more, so it's actually come in handy to have that space.
Okay, that's great. And I know a lot of home-based agents that do go and have office space for them. I'm still not there yet. I'm home-based, but I'm traveling all over the world, so I feel like I can be in office anywhere, right?
Yeah, I was cooped, for sure, absolutely.
Now, when did you get into the travel agency business, and why? What was the appeal?
So I started about 7 years ago. It was 2012, and I've always wanted to be a travel agent, actually.
Even before a librarian?
From the time I was 8 years old.
Okay.
My father sort of planted an idea in my head. He decided after he retired he would become a travel agent. We never got to see that come to fruition. However, it was always there. And every time I changed jobs or was looking to change jobs, I always looked at being a travel agent. And then I always decided against it for one reason or another. And just the timing wasn't right. The pay wasn't good enough. The environment wasn't good enough. And I turned 40 and said, you know what? It's now or never. Got to do it. Yeah.
Had you been traveling a lot on your own?
Yeah, travel is always very important to me, and it's been a passion. And when I was in my 20s, I was taking trips to Europe, and my friends were like, "How do you afford this?" And I eat ramen noodles. That's how I afford it. It was that important. I prioritized it to that degree. So I feel very passionate about bringing people together through travel and making sure that you understand that there's more to life than what's in your backyard, and it's important to see that and explore it.
What's your favorite trip? Where do you like to go?
So I come down to Central Florida a lot. I have children, but that's not the only reason. I come down here by myself a lot too, or with my adult friends. But I think my favorite place on earth is Greece. I've had the opportunity to go there twice. It's been a long time, and I need to get back. But I just feel like it's one of the most beautiful places. It's just one of those places I connected to as soon as I got there.
Well, I totally agree with you there. I've been there on cruises a number of times, and it's an amazing country, and it's actually come back quite nicely over the past few years. But now, when did you join? Did you join Nexion right away, or when did you join Nexion?
I did. I joined Nexion in May of 2012. I got my LLC and signed my contract about a week later.
Wow. And what attracted you to Nexion specifically? I mean, there are a lot of host agencies in the market.
I looked a lot. I researched. I'm a librarian, so I definitely looked. And I think the biggest appeal, honestly, was that Nexion is devoted to being a host agency. They don't sell travel. They're very well connected. And I just felt that the programs they had to offer, the contract that they offered, the commitment level, everything that they seemed as committed to me, despite the fact that I was coming in with just passion and no real experience. They were just as committed to me as had I had 20 years experience as a travel agent.
And of course, they have the programs to match that. So you went through all of their sort of introductory programs to learn how to become a travel agent?
I went through some. I timed it just right to where there was it was at that time called Agent Essentials. Now the program's called Essentials. There was one happening a month after I signed. So rather than start with the program program that they had at the time, which was before the Travel Leaders of Tomorrow program, it seemed to make more sense for me to try to just go for that 1 week, and then if I needed to change my contract and come back to one of their starter programs. But I got so much from that Essentials program, and then 3 months later came to CoNexion, and it just built a really solid foundation for me to where I knew enough to get my foot in the door and to find more training.
Yeah, and of course, Jackie Friedman isn't motivational at all, right?
Not at all. I mean, yeah, and I actually almost didn't come to CoNexion, and coming to CoNexion that year, really just, I haven't missed it since. And a lot of it is Jackie and her team.
No, they've been done a great job. I watched the organization grow over the years. I mean, they're nearing 5,000 affiliates now, which is pretty impressive. It really is the largest legitimate host agency in the market, right?
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing, too, is weeding through a lot of other host agencies. This one just rose to the top as I know that it's going to be around. I know that it's solid. It has a long history. Even before it was Nexion, it just has a long history in the industry in a lot of respect.
Are there any other programs that you've turned to, even beyond the introductory phase, that you think have helped you on the Nexion front?
Absolutely, and I think that's the great thing about Nexion is they have things that I can take advantage of at all sorts of levels. So just this year, I attended their groups training that was in Puerto Vallarta. It gave me a chance to go to a destination that I don't sell very much, being from North Carolina. We tend to do the other side of Mexico a lot. So I got to see something I'd never seen before and really dive deep into groups. Now that I have a lot of experience, knowing that groups is such a great way to build business, I wanted more tips. I didn't want to figure that out on my own. I wanted to hear from experts and hear from my colleagues. And it was one of the best sessions I've attended. And, I have 7 years experience, so it's not like I needed, it's not a beginner program necessarily. It talked to all levels.
Now, they have other sessions, I know, on luxury and other things, business travel. Are you interested in looking at those as well?
Yes, and I try to space them out. I think that if I do too much training in 1 year, I can't implement. So my goal is always to go to 1 or 2 offerings each year and make sure when I come back I implement, practice, and bring new business in, and then I can build on that. So I think luxury is probably where I'm going next. But
it's a very lucrative area in luxury, that's for sure. Now, what do you specialize right now? What are the areas of travel you really, obviously groups in different forms, I guess, for cruises and tours, whatever? Mm-hmm.
So family travel is really my niche, and that's what I'm passionate about. I love seeing children experience other things that are different from what they see every day. So that, started with Disney destinations in Central Florida, cruises, Caribbean, but now I have a pretty large book of business for Europe. Mm-hmm. A lot of families taking their kids to Europe for the first time and wanting to know how to do that the best way. And so that sort of grows into groups because then families want to travel with an extended family or several families traveling together. And so that's sort of where the groups part plays into that, is bringing that to fruition. And of course, as I've grown older, so have my clients, and so I'm starting to get empty nesters, the kids are going to college. So my business is sort of changing and developing. Although I'm still selling to families, those clients are staying with me, so I want to keep up with them.
Well, that's absolutely the right way to do it, because you sort of do the lifetime of their travel, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's my hope. I mean, I absolutely would love to be their best travel friend.
Yeah. Now, what is your strategy to grow the business going forward? You said you had 11 sub-agents, sub-advisors now. How are you going to grow this business even more?
I've tried to be very, very careful in selecting my travel advisors. I want them to be motivated and busy. I want them to want to sell, and they're not part-time. This is their passion. And so I've tried to make sure that we're covering niches. So if someone wants something that I don't sell, I can refer it to one of my independent contractors, and likewise they refer to each other. So we have several people who specialize in Central Florida locations, and we have several people who don't. And so they can sort of trade between their specialties. So as I grow, I'm looking to make sure we're filling more niches. Personally, I'm about to take a trip to Africa. First time that I've been on the continent.
Safari?
Yes, a safari, South Africa. Right. And I'm very excited to do that. It's the first time I've been south of the equator. And I'm pretty well traveled, but not on that part of the earth. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. And hopefully that will bring a new arm to our business. And we're starting to see our families getting old enough to want to do that as well.
Well, of course, it's a great family travel. If you can afford it and you can take your whole family, it's an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we want to get a little bit more into the exotics, cover Asia a little bit more. There's just a few niches. We actually surprisingly don't do destination weddings, which I know is a huge market, but it's just not something that's interested any of us. So as I'm looking to add, I don't want to add very many more. 11 is a lot, and I feel I'm a very hands-on person, and I like for us to be close-knit and a family, and so I'm afraid that if I grow too much, it won't still have that same feeling. But I want to add very strategically those markets so that we really do have full coverage.
Well, some of these families, when the kids get old enough, you might be
Yes.
doing destination weddings. We'll see.
And we don't want to have to refer them out because we
Yeah.
don't want to mess that up either. We want to make sure that we know we have somebody who can do it.
Now, over the seven years, what have you found were the key points of success, or, the key factors that really helped you grow and help you become a better travel advisor?
So I think Nexion is actually the number one building block for me. Anytime that I needed a little bit of help or advice or anything, either Nexion as an organization could give that to me or someone that I met through Nexion, another travel advisor. There's so many travel advisors in this network, and I have gotten to the point where I now know at least someone who does pretty much something that and then I found that just tracking my numbers and setting goals became very important, and then making sure that I'm always asking for referrals and building business. I'm very proud to say that I'm 100% referral, and that I don't ever want that to change, because then the people who come to me are coming to me because they already trust me. I don't have to convince them to trust me, and it just gets us off on the right foot.
Although I guess Nexion is heavily into now trying to get you referrals. We have this new escape program that's coming up, and so maybe you get some that way, but as you said, clearly it's a lot easier when you are getting referrals from friends and family.
And one of the great things about their referral program is we can really pinpoint, when we write our profile, we're basically telling people everything they need to know about us, so that when they come to us, they have that same sense of trust that they might have had their neighbor told us about them, because they know that we can do exactly what they want us to do.
Right. Any other keys to success that you could tell our fellow travel advisors out there in the market that you'd like to impart that you think really helped you?
I think it's always important to network with fellow travel agents. I don't see anybody at this conference as my competition, not a single one. And there's so much business out there that the more we work together in this industry to bring each other up and always have each other's back, the better we're going to be. And I know that a lot of my success comes from people helping me up when I'm starting to fall, and I want to return that favor just as much.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you very much for taking the time to talk about your agency, your experience in the travel business. It's a great story, and I have a feeling you're going to just keep growing and keep evolving as a travel advisor, and your agency is just going to keep on going. So good luck with it, and thanks again for spending some time with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.